media. I've spent my life in mainstream media, more than 50 years. If I wasted it, if I got it wrong.
All right. The show's going to start in 5 minutes. When
we talk about the mainstream media,
thanks for joining us.
let me ask you, how do you feel about it today?
Hang on, I'm interviewing.
Technical difficulties because I still
truth
haven't
is,
worked
I
out some
think
things, but this is
you're
always
the
just a
old
test until I get this
guard. You're the
100%
old
perfect.
mainstream media that
But for
had,
now,
and
let's just
let's put
pretend that everything is
COVID aside.
perfect.
I think you lost the
Thank
plot during COVID, but
We'll come back to that.
Bring
Yep.
this
no,
up, ready to go.
yeah, we can come back to
Go
that.
off
But
Oh, I'd like to. Seriously. Yeah.
but I think
things
you're
that I'm doing. But there is a 5-minute countdown.
you have
guys,
integrity.
So we'll just try and
You're
talk
willing
practice
to
while I'm onto this as we
talk
go,
to both sides. The fact
and
that
I'll
we're
try
doing
and
this
get into
interview
it
now,
and talk.
uncut,
I'm going to struggle because I
proves the
realised
point.
I can't
You want to
monitor
know
what
the
they're
mainstream
saying
media
on
and
my
the Guardian
computer.
last
don't know
week.
how
I did
to
the same
monitor
sort of
this
interview
and
with
get the
a
audio.
Jewish radio station.
For goodness sakes,
And the
excuse
Guardian
me.
did an article the
Alright,
next
guys,
day because it was
just gonna pause
published on,
something.
and this I'm talking about in the
Playing. So frustrating. Technology, guys, technology. It's great, but I have to play with this more, and this is part of the experiment of doing this. So obviously I want to get ready. So we will do a live test for 5 minutes, and I might even roll back the timer there just to be annoying for the people out there in case I'm not ready, because I only have a few minutes and I'm already half an hour late. I've been trying to get this sorted out since pretty much 4:45. Thank you. And I'm trying to find the live stream video of this new form because this was not the advertised link. And I do apologize to anybody. A sincere apology to anybody. Better late than never, says Rob Osborne. Thank you, Rob. I'm actually testing a new mic that just came today. This is a interview mic. I will show you in a minute. I do have to try and put I just noticed on the YouTube that it is actually playing through. But I don't know how I'm going to do this and watch this at the same time. This is going to be a struggle because I thought that I was going to have this sorted, that I could plug the headphones in to the sound source. For some reason, I can't route the audio to be able to hear it how you're hearing it. I don't know how to do that. Still learning it. Sorry. Thank you. And I might cheat in a minute and roll the clock back because this is going to be ridiculous. If I can't hear what's being said, how can I commentate to what they're saying or pause it and talk about something? I was looking forward to doing this. This is the sort of stuff that I want to do. Obviously, video capture device. So let's do that. Video, I got to put that in because I have to put me. I'll just put HLR camera. HLR cam. Thank you. All right. What do we got here? Device. Yes, FaceTime HD built-in camera. You know what I mean. Valvoline. I've got to make that a bit smaller, and I shouldn't really be shouting out to oil companies who make billions as it is. That's just me being a bit of a clown. Thank you. As we get this rolling, I'm going to put me in the bottom or one of the corners here. I'll shrink that over. And let's just do this in this corner here. I'll be in the top left corner there, guys. 1 minute 52 to count down. We're working on it. We're working on it. But I seriously need to work out how I'm going to get the audio to monitor this. Very, very frustrating indeed. Thank you. Obviously haven't got my shit together properly. I'm just going to turn the volume on the monitor up. Very, very frustrating indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Obviously haven't got my shit together properly. I'm just hearing myself back. We're trying to make this as professional as possible. Yes, professional as possible. Thank you. Can't seem to do it. Once I've got everything smooth, ready to roll, all will be professional as possible. And the challenge I'm going to have on this 1 hour, because I only want to do this for 1 hour. I don't want to do this for all night. No way. Thank you. Why would I want to do this all night? Because I can. And I'm sure you can. That gives me 1 more minute, guys. And where's the Hang Loose Recluse logo? Well, it is on the microphone. I'm about to go live. I just don't know what I'm going to do here, guys. I really don't know how I'm going to work this. Because for some reason, I can't get these guys. I'm going to look at advanced properties on this property thing here. Yes, microphone active. Avi and Neil are going to be... Yes, monitor. Yes. All right. Monitor and output. What's this? I've got to do audio monitoring, monitor off, monitor only, mute output. No, I don't want monitor and output. All right, yeah. All right, I think we could be okay to go here. This is going to be awesome if I can hear the audio. I've got the headphones plugged on, but Whether I need to plug it in the computer or the interface, who knows? We got 10 seconds, guys. We got 10 seconds. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and blast off. Going live. Going live. There you are. You see me on the screen. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Hopefully we're live and we're streaming into streaming live land. And let's play this, and I'll shut the hell up so you can hear what they're going to say. And I just need to make sure that I can hear it too. Thank you. I'll just play it until I can work this out. But anyway, welcome to another Hang Loose Recluse live stream, guys. Take it away, Avi Yemini and Neil Mitchell, as Hang Loose Recluse will stop and pause and talk shit as we have to. And I do apologise. I said I wasn't going to swear, and here I am swearing for you folks at home. Thank you. Let's get into the show. This is another Hang Loose Recluse live stream. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. We're going to fight for the next hour?
I don't think so, unless you pick one.
You reckon we'd agree on everything?
Definitely not. I
Well,
can guarantee you.
Well, one thing that stood out to me, you're very critical of mainstream media. Right?
Yep.
What are they, fake news media?
Yes, we're on.
I've spent my life in mainstream media, more than 50 years. If I wasted it, if I got it wrong.
Well, when we talk about the mainstream media, let me ask you, how do you feel about it today?
Hang on, I'm interviewing.
Well,
No, you're not. I'm doing the interview here, guys. If you just hold on a second, just back a little bit, guys. Back a little bit. This is the Hang Loose Recluse show, and I will put me on big screen so the people at home can see me. Thank you. I will be doing the interviewing. Thank you. Yes, I will be doing the interviewing. That's right. Thank you. And let's see what these guys have to say. Why have I just lost Neil there? There you are. Hello. Get on with the show.
the truth is, I think that you're the old guard. You're the old mainstream media that had, and let's put COVID aside, I think you lost the plot during COVID, but...
We'll come
Is
back
this
to
working?
that.
Thank you.
No, yeah, we can come back to that. But
Oh, I'd like to, seriously. Yeah.
but I think you have integrity. You're willing to talk to both sides. The fact that we're doing this interview now, uncut, proves the point. You want to know the mainstream media, The Guardian, last week. I did this same sort of interview with a Jewish radio station, and The Guardian did an article the next day because it was published on, and this I'm talking about in the last 2 weeks. This is the latest example.
Yeah.
They ran a story that they got emails from the Jewish community. I highly doubt anyone in the Jewish community, except the extreme fringe left, would write to The Guardian. But they said that they got emails saying that they did a long-form interview with Avi Yemini about the book, and it's on the website.
Yeah.
And they reached out for comment from the CEO of the Australian Jewish News. How can you have that?
Well, what did you say?
No, there was nothing in the interview. It was like nothing in the interview. They're not talking about the interview. They're talking about the idea that they're even platforming me.
I see.
And the next day, the interview's gone.
That's really interesting, because a number of people, I said, when it was first suggested, we have this channel. Yeah, it's a great idea, be fascinating. I don't think we'll agree, but good. And so, no, it's going to cause trouble. You'll get people criticising. How can you give him a platform? We talked on radio.
Hear that, guys? How can you give him the platform? So they're talking about not giving people the platform. But, it's just ridiculous. Because they oppose anybody who is trying to stand up and oppose anything they're doing. So they don't want to use their platform to give anybody the platform. They actually hate exposing, or they hate showing independent media. They don't like to... give us the airtime. Not that we're, I'm anything. I'm just bloody nothing. But I'm talking about the big wig independent people. You know what I mean? They don't like it, but they do like to talk about it in a bad light and try to gaslight, as you know. I'm sure you're all aware. Thank you.
A while ago.
No, several times.
And the message again was, you're giving this idiot a platform. Now, I don't mind giving somebody a platform, provided it's an honest one and provided there's a debate. And
He doesn't mind giving anyone a platform as long as it's an honest one and there's something about debate, whatever he just said. He doesn't mind giving anyone a platform, except for anyone who wants to ask the government hard questions. That's right, mainstream media, you have sold your souls. You have sold your souls to the government and big pharma companies. That's all I'm saying here on this live stream. Thank you.
probably will disagree, and I probably do think you're an idiot in some ways. But
Excuse me, I think you're an idiot, Neil Mitchell. How dare you talk to me like that? Thank you.
what that worries me. What's happened that the world says you can't talk to that bloke?
But that's my point about mainstream media.
However, having said that, I wouldn't be keen on interviewing a Nazi.
Well, I did a few weeks ago. That's probably where we maybe differ. But I went to the protest where there were Nazis and anti-Nazis. The so-called anti-Nazis were the only one that got violent to a Jew, and then the Nazis. Ironically, at the end, they were both marching for Palestine, which I found interesting. They were dressed the same. But I'll talk to anyone because I think that if you have a bad idea, I'd rather challenge it. Pushing them underground doesn't help.
No, it's a fair point. I worry about interviewing an extremist from anywhere, and we went through this a bit during the days of ICE.
Take a look in the mirror, Neil. You want to interview an extremist? Look in the mirror and interview yourself. A mainstream media extremist. Yes, you, Neil Mitchell. Yes, you.
And the rest. I worry about interviewing extremists from anywhere because I don't want to encourage extremism. I don't want to.
Then get out of mainstream media, mate, because extremism is mainstream media. And I just want to say shout out to a couple of the people that have commented here. So Rob Osborne, better late than never. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And Courage is a Cure is in the house. And Courage is a Cure says hello. And she also says Neil is ACMA's cheerleader. Absolutely. Thank you.
You have somebody on who tells me, for example, that all Indigenous people are dole-bludging booze heads who bash up their wives. Because I don't want them, I don't want them encouraging a form of racism or bigotry. Did you do that at all?
Did I encourage or do I interview people?
I
interview anyone. I'll talk to anyone. I don't think.
Would you interview Adolf Hitler?
What a stupid question, Neil. He is a media guy. Media people interview anyone, no matter who they are, what they've done. It's like saying to Jodie Foster, would you interview Sean Connery in Silence of the Lambs? Of course you would, because it's part of the thing that she was doing in that movie, Silence of the Lambs. I know it wasn't him, it was that other guy, I forget his name, but I'll call him Sean Connery. You know what I mean, the Hopkins guy. Thank you. You've been watching another Hang Loose Recluse production. Keep watching.
Am I allowed to say I would have loved to?
Yeah, I would too.
What
would you ask him?
Oh, I haven't even thought about it. I'm trying to get past Dan Andrews.
So straight away he goes for the most extremist person in the world, and trying to gaslight. He's gaslighting. This mainstream media Neil Mitchell guy is absolutely gaslighting. This is the question. I mean, I know they're just topical talking. But Neil Mitchell's already off the bat a couple of minutes in, and he's already 3 minutes in, and look at that. Anyway, I just let you guys see it for yourselves. I'm sure you might have already watched it, but I'm here to try and make this lighthearted. And if you haven't already seen this, don't forget to watch the Hang Loose Recluse version, and you can see this, right? Why give 3AW the hit? I saw this today on my lunch break, and I thought, this looks interesting. So I thought, it's a whole hour interview. I'm going to do this as a live stream, hence why on my lunch break I done the screenshot, put up the notification to try and do this. Let's get on with the show. But this fascinated me in the sense that it's an hour long, it's mainstream media on their platform, and let's just dig right into it. Hopefully you haven't seen it, but if you have, that's great too. But I guess this makes it unique because I'm here hosting this part of my show. Thank you. You're watching another Hang Loose Recluse show. Thank you.
What would you ask him?
I have a whole list of questions, but I got banned from that. So.
Oh, so did I. There you go.
Well, I went to court and I lost it, and the whole media was the media class that you're talking about. They were outraged at my lawyer for even defending me in this fight. So. You asked what the problem with the mainstream media is.
Mainstream media. I've wasted my life, yeah.
No, I don't think you did.
Neil,
I think that we need to bring it back to what you represent.
Again,
not
Neil.
in COVID, again. But I think what you represent, the old journalism where you used to go out, look for the facts and then present them, you can add a bit of opinion to it. There's no problem. Now everybody pretends like they have no opinion. This is fair and balanced. These are the facts, when it is literally people spewing their opinion, and they're presenting it as the facts. And that's why do so many people hate me? Because the mainstream media, especially I'm talking about in the establishment, whether it's the media, the political class, is because the mainstream media has painted me in a certain way.
Well, have they painted you? Rat bag.
Well, yeah, I talk about it in the book. There's all the different things that they say about me which are completely false. I don't mind. There's a lot about my character. Character assassination, I've made it easy for people to character assassinate me. But the problem is the things that they pick on about my character are the wrong things. They take easy, low-hanging fruit that I wasn't able to defend myself, and they kept pushing those.
Well, with the honesty, and we're being honest, what's the worst thing you've ever done?
Well, one night, I was about 21. I was blind drunk. I was in Phillip Island, country Victoria. I was blind drunk. I was at the fish and chip shop. But earlier, I was at the bottle shop. Statute of limitations should have me cleared here. The worst thing I've ever done was I was blind drunk. I was with a couple of mates who walked in the bottle shop. I knocked off a heap of like packets of chips and stuff, shoved them down me dack, shoved them down me jacket. It was middle of winter, chips everywhere, you know, down me pants. About 10 packets of chips. We went down to the fish and chip shop down the road, and I started pulling them all out in the shop. And the mate goes, "Hey, you better not have knocked them off from here." I said, "Nah, mate, I stole them from down the road." And we all had a laugh, and it was funny. Thank you.
So my teen years are pretty bad.
Drugs.
Well, drugs, crime. I used to rob people on the streets. I was a little junkie.
Did you bash people up?
No, see, I was always.
The reason they want to hit these hard questions is obviously because of the wife thing with the Avi thing, whatever, the domestic violence thing. They're gaslighting. They're pushing for a narrative because, as you know, the mainstream media will just take a snippet out of this whole hour of interview. The mainstream media will take the segment they need to go and pollute the minds of their readers. Speaking of their readers, I picked up the Sunday Times yesterday in a service station here in WA. $4.20 for the Sunday Times now, guys. It's $4.20 for a Sunday newspaper. No one is buying that crap, so they've got to put the price up for all the clowns that actually are paying for it. But who'd pay $4.20 for that garbage? Why would you? Anyway, get on with the show. Thank you.
Did because I probably looked up to people that did, and I knew a lot of people that did, and I was there when it happened. But I didn't have the heart to. I've always been soft inside. So, I can tell you, I remember my mind looking at these guys and looking up to them and thinking, wow, how do you do that? How do you, without feeling
Did you admire it?
I did admire it.
You wanted to be able to do
I
it?
wanted to be them. I actually would ask them to inspire me and teach me how to do it, but I just could never do it. I was never that kid, and I'm grateful I'm not that kid.
You still feel guilt about those days?
Do I feel guilt about those days? Probably to the one or two victims that I had, and when I'm talking about victims, I'm talking about other kids my age that I walked up to and pretended like I had a knife in my pocket and told them to give me their phone and their wallets. I do feel guilty. It's interesting. I haven't deeply thought about it. I would feel guilty, and I would love to catch up with those people today, and I guess I would apologise for that. Although if it had any effect, I imagine it would have.
Well, they probably know where you are.
They would. They were probably my neighbours.
You do.
You're watching the Hang Loose Recluse Show. Thank you. Whoops, I moved the wrong video. I was mucking around trying to do something technical here, guys, behind the scenes, trying to be my own TV station as such, you know what I mean? Like, oh, damn, I've done something, I've messed something up. Bear with me, I made a mistake. I'll get back to normal. Thank you. I was meant to only flick myself onto the big screen there for a little bit and flick it back. I was trying to be real fancy.
Address this in the book too, wife bashing.
Yep. That's the biggest lie. That's the lie that the mainstream media ran. And you know what?
You did plead guilty.
I pled guilty to a crime that I didn't commit.
Gaslighting.
Because our system, I think, is...
Gaslighting.
But you know, the jail's full of people who didn't do it.
Yeah, and you know what? Before I went through it, I probably would have been one of those people that would go...
Just like the hospital was full of people with C19, with the... But you don't talk about that, do you, Neil? No, you don't talk about that, do you?
You know, when I hear... I'll give you an example. There's a girl, Sydney Watson, who was a good friend of mine a few years ago. She was in town and she was organising... She used to go on about men's rights. And I never thought much of it. I thought, if there's smoke, there's fire. If you're in court, if you're fighting... If you intervention orders, if you're fighting for custody, if they're saying there's probably something to it.
Yeah.
And she organised this rally, and she came to me, she goes, Avi, you always do rallies. So can you help me do this rally? It was not an issue I cared about, for the reasons I just mentioned. And it was a Wednesday, and she called for this rally, and by Saturday it was the biggest conservative rally I'd ever seen. And I thought, something weird is going on here, that on Wednesday, by Saturday, we had the biggest rally, so with the shortest amount of notice, and there were so many people on the streets. Now that I've lived through the system and I realise, hold on, there is something fundamentally wrong here where somebody like me, who never in my life has hit a woman, never would, that could then be forced to plead guilty because somehow it's they attach your kids to it. You can't talk about a lot of it because of legality.
Yeah, you can't. But essentially, you say in the book you pleaded guilty so you didn't lose access to your kids.
Essentially.
And the incident with your wife was accidental.
Absolutely. And you know what? On the day that I was in court for that, because obviously you can only the media can come to those court hearings. There was an Age and a Leader reporter there, and the only one that ran it, the Age reporter came to me. I go, mate, I would love to defend myself. I can't. He didn't run it, which I was shocked about. It was
Didn't run the story.
He didn't run the story. It was the Herald Sun, the leader, who ran it. And he ran it that day with that headline because that's what the media do. They knew that there was more to the story. They ran the headline. Avi Yemini pleads
why
guilty.
Are they after you? I mean, you sound as if you're a victim. You sound as if they're after you.
So this is their tactic. It was character assassination. They don't like me. Come on, you just told me now a minute ago when you talked about doing this interview.
Yeah, I don't think you're that important.
People within the media straight away said, no, that guy's the worst guy. Of course. So they have. I've had a target on my back, and I've created sometimes a target. I take responsibility for that. But the point is that on that day, the one journalist ran it, and he ran it. It went so well for the Herald Sun because he ran that story, I think, 4 times in 2 years when at random times, tying me, the top 10 online influencers that were, taken down by the courts or something. And he knew that there was more to the story, but just didn't want to report it because it didn't suit his narrative.
Why are you so important then, do you believe, to mainstream media that they want to... Are you a threat?
There's a few reasons.
Yeah, okay. Are you a threat? Is that it?
Well, look, I don't think it's...
I don't think it's that he's a threat. He's got a big base. Of course, anybody who does independent media is a threat to mainstream media because they can't go and just speak what they want and how they want on their platform of mainstream media. As individuals that work for them, they have to toe the line. I've always said that about mainstream media. They're just jealous that they are under conditions and have to toe the line and go to university for however many years they do, and they get jealous because someone comes along who's able to edit a video and put a channel up and make a channel and do any form of media they like without doing the schooling and education. It's like anything. Like you get a backyard mechanic who's not qualified mechanic. Mechanics don't like that person. Of course they don't. It's just like an electrician. Someone who just goes and wires up houses. People don't like that because they're undercutting them. Thank you.
One big conspiracy. I think everybody has different reasons. I think, a journalist who's spent his whole life studying and trying to get into this industry then sees some schmuck who used to be a drug addict and then joined the IDF and then comes back, opens gyms, and then suddenly is doing their job more successfully when it comes to ratings than they are. So I piss them off. They, tall poppy syndrome. They'll want to knock me out, and I think that a lot of those reporters, that's what it was. The others, they just join in. It's a mob mentality, and I think some of them believe the rubbish that they say because they've read so many times. You know how many people have read my book now and said, I've received messages going, you know what? I actually didn't like you before, and now I realize, okay, and it was all based around the character assassination of the mainstream media.
A rebel from the start, it's called.
Just touching on that, like I know a lot of people out there in the freedom circles don't like Avi, which is fair enough. I've got no reason. I'm not, I'm only judging the guy on what he does as his videos and whatnot. I know people try to look for the hidden agenda and this and that, and I don't go like that. I'm sorry, I don't do it. I look at it as what he's can provide and show me, and the fact that he does get into it and no one else is doing the stuff that he's doing. Well, we're trying. Well, no one is as profile. As big a profile as what he does, I guess you could say. There's a few others, but I can't fault what he's doing based on the fact that I'm not busy. I'm not too busy. I'm not busy looking at what if. The agenda behind. People. I don't know. I don't like that within the freedom circles of people bagging the hell out of each other. You know who you are, because I don't do that. I don't care. If people want to do whatever it is they're doing, each person within the freedom circles are individual and different. Where everybody's doing everything respectively the same but differently, and that is trying to just be who we are and be the resistance. That's all we are. It's we're just trying to be that. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'll say that anyway. Thank you. Whoop, my producers tapped me on the shoulder saying you can't say that.
You're hardly left wing. I mean, do they resent you politically, but because you're a right wing?
I think that certainly contributes to it. And I think, look, my behaviour in the beginning when I first started doing this probably wasn't very helpful.
What did you do?
I think the way I went about things and my confrontational manner and the way I spoke, it was a different era, and I was also a different person in my life. So I didn't help myself, and I didn't care. I think I wanted to go to war with the journalists. I did. They just suddenly hit the jackpot when they had something they could use. I didn't mind till then, until they used that woman basher, because that's the worst thing. I don't mind you call me whatever it is that I am, but to call me personally something that I've never done and I stand against, that's hurtful.
Interesting point. I won't call you what you are. You describe yourself. What are you? Describe yourself.
An attention seeker. I think I make that pretty clear.
That's a little bit silly, Abby. I don't know why you would even say that, even if it is a joke on mainstream. I mean, it's not about. Well, if that's your real agenda, then now you're exposed, mate. I've seen the light. I've seen the truth. No, I don't know. Is that really what it's about? I mean, far out. I know I do this because I've got ADHD, guys. I've got ADHD, and that's another reason why I do this, because I have a voice, and I've always had a powerful, kind of strong voice without really knowing what the hell I'm talking about, and music sense. So I figure I might as well just friggin' do what I do and use my lack of shyness in I guess standing up to the system and doing it. But sometimes you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that or said that or whatever. I don't know. Who cares? But that was just a ridiculous answer there, Avi. I'm actually bagging you now, mate. I'm bagging you. But good on you, brother.
In my book, I'm loud, opinionated, but
Aren't we all?
I'm actually quite caring. I'm often the opposite of what I'm portrayed as.
What do you care about? What do you cry about?
I care a lot about family. Pretty much every tattoo I have on me is about family. So family is really important to me.
They make you cry?
Well, you can go back to that period we're talking about. I think I cried. That I cried then, and I think that they definitely can. I think. I'm obviously I'm passionate about Israel. That's something that's been always important to me. So I can get emotional about that.
It's an interesting point. I was talking to Joe Gutnick many years ago, and I said, Israeli or Australian? He said he's Israeli, even though he lived in Australia, made his fortune in Australia. You Israeli or Australian?
I'm Israeli. If you look at my Twitter handle, that's
Yeah.
Australian, Israeli.
What country is your? Where's your heart? Where's your soul?
Oh, that's a ridiculous
I'm Aussie.
question.
My mentality is Aussie. I've got a bit of the rough Israeli, I think, to me, but I love Israel.
I've got to pause that. I think I am muting. Am I there? Hello? Check 1, 2. Am I there? Yeah, of course I am. I think I'm there. Am I? Yeah, microphone. There we go. I've just got a bit of a problem, guys. Hello? Are you there? I'm just going to check this because I'm hearing weird stuff going on. I don't even know if this mic... Hello, are you working? It's picking up the computer sound. That's just ridiculous. Thank you. All right, microphone. Bear with me. Sorry, I'm just trying to change some settings to do this. Far out, mate. Just monitor off. Bloody annoy me. All right, I'll just play that.
I grew up ultra-Orthodox, and I remember and I can see it today, but I remember what it felt like to see anti-Semitism. And I don't like the word because it's overused by so many organisations now for their own benefit, but it's a real thing. And I grew up in a time where all the Holocaust survivors of the community were really a part of our community. My brother-in-law's grandmother used to spend, every Shabbat with her, and she would tell me the stories of the concentration camps. So it was something really close, and you always feel this sense of you want that safe place in case things happen. So, but I feel Australian in the fact that I grew up. I love this country. I think that. I don't think it conflicts. I think you can be Australian, Israeli. I think that our moral thing is the same. It aligns.
All right, guys, it's official. YouTube's playing funny buggers on us because there was comments on the stream before now. I was showing them up to the screen. They're all gone. Every message has disappeared off the face of the planet. That's why I switched from my iPad to my phone, and I can't understand why they would just disappear. So if anyone is commenting, I apologise. For some reason, they're just not showing up. So if you are commenting out there, oh, here we go, Jess, we have the messages gone. Backrooms to a BoobTube again. Yeah, that's what I was just... That's funny you just say that, Jess. So our messages are getting deleted. Our comments are getting deleted. Obviously, YouTube, yeah, glitch. Let's get on with the show.
So you were targeted as a kid? Anti-Semitism?
As a kid, look, targeted. I remember walking to shul.
yeah,
I wasn't in.
Orthodox, pretty obvious,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
I was.
You
It
have
was
the
obvious.
gear and the-
yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember walking to shul. It was normal to hear somebody screaming something out, "Bloody Jew" from the car. Or I remember one Christmas, they said that it ended up being on a Shabbat. So I remember them screaming something about killing Jesus. Like, it was just.
Did it upset you?
You know what? It was normal for us as kids. It was just
Cannot
normal.
believe
You
the
just
messages
but
just disappeared like that.
we lived in our own closed-off community, and when I left home, I didn't know anyone outside of my Jewish community. And when I say Jewish community, I'm not talking about. I didn't even know people from the more liberal.
Thanks to whoever it is pressing that heart button. I'm trying to get rid of that heart button. Someone told me to get rid of it, so I will eventually get rid of that heart button. So, but yeah, thanks for pressing it. Whoever it just was, that means that there is people out there responding, but we just can't hear you because GooberTube has shut you all off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all right. Let's get back into this show. What's going on? Are you there? Hello? Why am I so far behind? Thank you. All right, just everything's a test. Thank you.
Jewish community. I just knew people from the Chabad Lubavitch sect, and back then there was no internet, so you can't just jump online and meet people. You had to physically go and do it.
I'd like to get to when you left home, because you're very young. How old when you left home?
14.
Ran away.
Yeah, well, I was given. Yeah, I guess I was given an option: religion, religion or leave, and. I've never been someone to to cower to authority. So,
Well, yeah, okay. Do you believe now? Are you a believer?
in God,
Yeah.
not very much. My relationship with God is
Come on,
complicated.
get on
I
with the
think
show, guys.
I respect everyone's right
get
to believe in
with the
whatever
political
fairy tale
situation
they
of what's
want,
going on in the world.
as long as you're not
Have your
imposing
debate,
on
guys.
me or
You've got a
hurting
chance
me.
to debate.
How many
Abby.
siblings?
16.
Okay. Which is the tradition, of course. What's
Which
do you get
all
on with them?
all this information that Neil Mitchell's going on about is probably in Avi's book. So this is not about, all right, you're doing the interview. Yeah, fair enough. You are asking him questions, but get to the nitty-gritty, guys, and start debating. I expected there to be some kind of debate or an argument or something. It's just like ass kissing. Too much of it. Thank you.
I'm very close to everyone in my family.
Are they still believers?
Some of them, yeah, I get on with all of them. It doesn't. But my
good,
family, you have really religious, ultra orthodox. Then you have the gay, super liberal siblings. So it's my whole family is a broad spectrum.
and they literally gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not using that as a derogatory.
No. I thought you might have meant.
No. He's,
Okay, I thought you meant for a moment hipster type. Okay, do you? And they don't reject you. They don't reject you for being attention-seeking troublemaker.
What?
no, in fact, I think my book
So
became a
why is he a
bestseller.
troublemaker? All right, he might get in the face of the system because they're all trying to shut him down. But why does he have to call him a That's gaslighting again, isn't it? Is that gaslighting, guys? Thank you.
Because they all bought a copy.
But it's not the Jewish way, and
No,
as I agree, a Jewish way is usually low profile. We don't go out and get attention. We've been through millennium of being
well, I think depends what
persecuted and killed because of drawing attention. I mean, you're sort of anti-Jewish in that sense.
No, I think that it depends what sect. Lubavitch is the only kind of Jewish group that go out, and I talk about it in the book. It's one of those things where they go and try bring Jews to the fold. So we've always had. It is the only outgoing sort of group. So I don't think that upsets them.
Okay.
They love it, and they're all attention seekers. To be fair.
I've got a lot of Jewish mates who are not Orthodox, and some of them tell me it's really sad. They born in Australia, grew up in Australia, generations of Australia, because they trace their families back hundreds of years. But they don't feel Australian anymore, and they are worried about the level of anti-Semitism in this country to the point that they're...
Well, I don't feel Australian anymore, Neil. After what we just went through in the last 3 years and the way Australians were treated as a result, even by fellow Australians that could even be watching this, thank you. No, there's only a few of you out there. I'm sure you are all in the same boat. But if there was, and if there's any mainstream media listening or federal police officers who went and got your frigging things in your arm, you should always remember that it should always be a choice in this country to go and do that, not be forced to go and do that in this country. It was unprecedented that we were forced to do that, and that goes against everything that stands for Australia. It should be personal choice, and it should always have been. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Hey. Hello?
They're worried about the future of their kids. Do you sense that sort of attitude anywhere?
Yeah, I think it is. It is an issue. You can see the rise in anti-Semitism on both sides. My problem with often the Jewish community organisations is that they focus on one side of it, and they focus on the neo-Nazi groups, which I think that they're a tiny group that are so easy to shame and embarrass by just showing who they are. I'm more worried about the far left and then also Islamist groups that are growing in Australia. So the Jews copper from all sides.
Define truth.
Define truth. Facts.
What's fact? Fact is somebody's interpretation often.
No,
yes, it is. You and I can see a horse riding down the middle of Collins Street for some reason, and both will describe what we saw. It'll be different.
Yeah, but the truth is what it is. So you go get the evidence and you prove it. So we can both have an opinion of, or we could have seen something. You could think it's red and I can think it's blue. But the fact is, when we look at CCTV, it'll be red or blue, or it might be black, and we might both be wrong.
So we don't broadcast or publish until we establish what colour it is.
No, but we don't pretend.
Isn't that ridiculous? That's the mainstream media we're
our
talking
word
about
is
here,
fact.
guys. They only talk about,
you see that a lot
2%
today.
of
You've
what
got
needs
these
to be
fact
told,
checkers.
and that's the
I'm in
2%
court
they
with them
need
at the
to tell
moment,
you to sort of
and it's the
brainwash
biggest
you.
joke. It is the biggest joke
Mainstream
that
media artist.
they want to define
Yes,
fact, and you
BS
look at
artist.
the government also trying to define what truth is through misinformation bills. And these are people that get things wrong more than me. The difference between me and the mainstream media is I'm honest about what I am and who I am and what I stand for. Our tagline is literally telling the other side of the story. I don't pretend that I'm just in the middle. I have no opinion. I have an opinion. But I'm going to tell you the other side of the story that they won't tell you in the mainstream media.
Yeah, but why should we believe it? You've got an opinion. You're coming from a particular angle. Why should we believe your version of it?
Because the facts are the facts. So
Well,
my
look at the
opinions
mirror,
are on
Neil.
top.
Neil,
So when
before we
I
go
show
any
you a
further, Neil-
story, when I present a story,
Neil,
the story
Neil,
is the
Neil, before we go any further, mate, why don't you just go have a long, hard look at yourself and look at the industry that you represent instead of pretending that you're all, yeah, you know what I mean? You're all just on a bed of roses. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Neil, go look in the mirror and you tell me why you do what you do in that industry that you're in. Thank you. I'll tell you why. Because it's all about money. There is corporate interests. There is sponsorships, all that sort of stuff. And that's the reason why you do what you do, Neil. We do what we do because it's fun. You don't do it for fun. You do it because you're told to. Thank you. No one tells me to wake up and do this. I decide to do this. Thank you.
story. I put my opinion on top. But when somebody tells you this happened to me, and you present the evidence of what happened, now you can come to whatever conclusion. My opinion might help sway your opinion, your where you land. But that's what the mainstream media do.
Yeah, maybe, but that's manipulative, isn't it? That's manipulative journalism. This is the fact. These are the facts as you present them, and I'm not disagreeing. Mainstream media does. I do it myself, but I'm not sort of I'm not a reporter. I'm a commentator, with a bit of reporting thrown in, I guess, as the lines are blurred. But you are, in a sense, manipulating an audience by telling them your version of fact, your interpretation of fact, and your analysis of fact.
Well, if we can agree that that's what the mainstream media do,
Yeah, sure.
So
Too often it's blurred. But
so the thing again, what makes me different is that I'm honest about that. I'm saying I'm telling the other side of the story. So if you want to hear a different perspective, the problem is you're getting fed all of that from that side all day. Here's one guy who's going to give you a counter version of it.
Yeah, but it still comes down to why believe you and not The Age or the
I don't
Herald
think you
Sun or
should.
Channel 9.
Don't believe me. Watch both. Watch both and come to your own conclusion. I think
But that's not the modern world. I mean, you haven't got time.
I think I approach things from a common sense perspective, from a conservative or libertarian point of view, and I don't deny that. So the problem is most people turn on the TV and they get sick watching because they watch an ABC report and they can see that it's clearly biased. And it annoys them. It angers me when I watch it because I'm like, I can see what you're doing there. Now, when they watch me, at least it's either the same story or it's a story that's being ignored by the mainstream media. So what do you want me to do? Not tell the story? I'm telling stories that are often ignored by the mainstream media and coming to my conclusions with it. So you can ignore that like I do when I watch the ABC and just listen to the facts of the story.
Okay, let's face it. You said I lost the plot during COVID. Why did I lose the plot?
You have a long list of, I don't know, I think you were part of the media class that were cheerleaders to the authoritarian response and the overreach that we saw, especially in our state. And I have theories as to why. They're not conspiracy theories. I just want to make it clear. I have theories as to why. I think there's a certain demographic of people that I noticed. It was almost easier. I imagine you were really scared of the virus. You're at a certain age. I'm not calling you old.
No, of course, I'm more vulnerable.
You're more vulnerable, and it sounded scary, and self-preservation. So, and then on top of that, the downside of it didn't affect you like it did to some other people. You were still getting paid. You still were able to work, and I saw that also in the courts. I was in the courts half the time.
Yeah, but you still haven't told me what I did wrong. What did I do wrong?
You supported all those lockdowns.
No, I didn't.
You absolutely did.
Fact, wrong.
I'm happy to be fact checked on this. The last lockdown, even the last lockdown you were supporting, I'm happy to. We can fact check this, and then.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I believe. I believe the early lockdowns were necessary because we didn't know about it. We're getting these horrifying stories out of a place like Italy where you have a ventilator, you don't. We had no.
Yeah. Let's look at Italy there, Neil. Everyone that you speak to from there knows now. There was, if you just look deep into it, I'm not going to say anything here because of the platform that we're on, but just have a look at Italy, Neil. Have a look at Italy. Do some research. People will tell you that what you saw on the mainstream media was just a figment of not the reality. I'll just say that. Thank you. Talk to people from Italy. It wasn't like what you guys were making it out to be. You were making out like it was like that everywhere. But there was something suspicious about that, Neil. And your agency and corporations all ran with it because of the agenda that they had and the collusion that they had with the government and the big pharmacy industries, because your industry got paid all the sponsorships from the company that you were promoting, which is Big Pharmacy. You know it, Neil. Don't give me that BS, mate. Thank you.
No way of understanding or cope. Early lockdowns necessary. They went on too long, and the authoritarian nature of them was garbage. Towards the end there, I remember the 5K limit, which the government said the police had asked for. I had Shane Patton on air, Chief Commissioner. Why did you want that? Oh, I didn't. We weren't consulted. Truth. The government said the police wanted. The police said, no, we didn't. Yeah, of course I was scared of it. That's partly my age. I was scared for the sake of my audience. But to say that I didn't feel some empathy
I'm not saying
for the people on the line crying. Well,
I didn't say you didn't have empathy.
I don't know how many times I said, look, I've got a job, I've got good money, I'm safe. I was out of town most of the time, even though I was broadcasting, and I had people crying down the phone at me. I'm in fact proud of some of what not all of it. I know I made mistakes, I agree with you there. But I'm proud of what we did in holding hands, helping people through one of the great traumas of their life.
Yeah, and I think you did good. I think you did do good work there, but I disagree with your version of. I think now all the media is starting to walk it back. You saw just this weekend, the Australian front cover is suddenly saying things that I got mocked a year and a half ago for saying.
That's true.
Crikey. So on the other side, they're also condemning the lockdown suddenly. If you want to consider them journalists, most of the mainstream media consider Crikey a reputable news source. But everybody's now walking it back.
That's
but
true.
we were the same people. I was mocked by almost everyone for saying what you're saying now. So, yeah, I think you got it wrong. I think the mainstream media, the difference between you and the mainstream, many of the mainstream media reporters, especially the ones I saw at many of these protests, reporting is, I understand where you came from, and I think you came with integrity, and you came from, and I understood why.
Well, what do you think was take me out of it,
Yep.
what do you think was the motivation of mainstream media? Why do you believe mainstream media was part of this, and we won't use the word conspiracy, but this attempt to control people, to overreact?
Sponsorship, Neil. Sponsorship. Fear. Fear sells. Fear sells. That's a good point. That's a good starting point. Fear sells. Sponsorship deals. You guys had to toe the line with your sponsors. You couldn't talk badly about any of your sponsors that were pushing these things. you pretended that you were questioning the government with hard questions, but you weren't. You were shut up about it because obviously the government was working for Big Pharma, and then suddenly the corporation that you represent was working for Big Pharma, and you both had the same interest with the government. So you're just this big giant triangle, Neil. You are at one of those points of that triangle, your organisation. The next organisation was Big Pharma, which pays your sponsorships. And then the government was also paying you with those $41 million worth of tax relief at the time in that first year. $41 million was distributed amongst all of the media corporations Australia-wide to promote the doing the right thing. Doing the right thing for society. So you all peddled it, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have got your share in that $41 million tax relief that they called it, Neil. That's why. That's why you did it. Bottom line, Neil, is dollar, and you all sold your souls to try and make a dollar.
Why?
Do you know, during the pandemic, through all that period, the mainstream media had more eyeballs on them than they ever do.
Yeah, we did too.
I did too. Media did. It was.
So you reckon that's it?
Was a conflict of interest.
They wanted audience, therefore they beat it up.
Listen, again, it's one of these things that there's everybody. Everybody has their own reason. I think there were a lot of opportunists during COVID, from governments. I'm not one of those people that subscribe to just this big cabal has set it all up to have. I do believe that there's forces out there that are a bit evil, but I think everybody on their own level found opportunities within COVID and took them, and the media very much so. This was the best time for media. Every single day, everybody was glued to the TV watching what's happening. Why else would?
And that's around the time when I decided to tune out of media. I'll admit, right, I used to enjoy coming home when I lived a normal life before all this garbage. I don't know, it was like a habit, a routine type thing. You'd come home from work, you'd kick back. I don't know why. I would just put it on. But I analyse the media a lot. I actually observe when I do go and watch mainstream media, I do it for observations. I'm always, one day, this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to work this out. I'm going to do a live broadcast of the actual nightly news at like 6 o'clock. I'll do a 6 o'clock news and we'll just leave it on and we'll just play it. I don't know if there's any legalities with that. Are you allowed to live stream the TV? I don't know. It's free to air, so why wouldn't I be? I'm only giving them the free ads, so when the ads come on, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's not like it's copyrighted. It shouldn't be. Well, the music might be in the ads, but I can always mute the ads. But I should be able to show the news. Yeah, I will. I'm going to do that, guys. I'm going to do my piss take on the actual news, but I can't pause it because it's going to be live. Thank you. Anyway, dribble shit for the sake of it. Thank you.
That is the biggest conflict of interest.
Oh, yeah. Look, intellectually, what you're saying is correct. But I've never seen a sign of that in this building. And as far as I know, in newspapers. In fact, the people I know who are my friends, I haven't got a lot of friends left in newspapers.
But
I'm a bit on the nose like you.
That's probably it. There were here and there certain voices, and I'm not putting. I think I used to listen to you. I think through COVID, I probably swore at you a few times.
Oh, a lot do.
But I know. But I think that the majority of the mainstream media, for whatever reason, and I don't know if the newsrooms were telling them but they were being unfair. I saw you condemning the protesters.
I thought some of the protests were outrageous. Up at the shrine.
Yeah, but were you there? You see, with the shrine, that's my...
Sorry, were you there that day?
Yeah, I was there at the shrine. Yes.
I'm just going to go to your comments now, guys. I just saw a comment pop up here from Wasp. I better not say. Jess, Italian blood samples prior to C19 show that it was already in the community. Italian, more like military. Jess, pop cull, that didn't eventuate. Wasp says, people are still getting sick though, Jess. People are still going to be dying from cardiovascular problems because of this, and yet there's no uproar from the masses. Very sad. That's right, and same with the excess deaths. No panic or fear in the media because there's no obligation of sponsorship for them to promote the excess deaths in the media and talk severely about them. But if that was all part of the plan to sort of drive these things into people's arms, then I'm sure there would be an incentive by the mainstream media to talk about and promote those fear stories of those excess deaths. But there's just no need to. They just don't want to. They're just towing the line. It's like there's conditions attached to what their involvement with Big Pharma and government. There's conditions associated with that. And that's why they're just backing off, because they're on the side of those people that I just mentioned, the Gov and the Big Pharma. Like I said, it's just one big bloody triangle, and they're all in the same group. Triangle, mate. Order of the Evil Eye. Thank you.
I was covering that story,
Yeah.
and what I found interesting is, so Dean Lee would make a claim that they're urinating on the shrine, and everybody ran.
And Jess just goes on to say that don't forget the 2015 patented DNA sequences patented by Moderna. I should say patented. You know, English recluse style wording.
That as a headline. Did you see any evidence of that before running it?
I quoted him.
You quoted him. Yeah, I mean,
And I'm happy to quote the shrine, whatever his title is, ahead of some bunch of bozos storming around the streets.
Okay,
I did see them jumping on the bonnets of innocent people on Westgate.
All right, talking about that shrine there. Now, I noticed at the time, I noticed this from afar. I'm over here in Western Australia. I remember it was around October-ish, or could have even been September, October. I remember something, might have been early October, I think. I think it was early October. And the shrine thing occurred, and the mainstream media ran with the story. All they showed on the news in that 30-second snippet of the news is saying violent protesters stormed the shrine today, defecating, doing this, doing that. And they never showed the story of that. They just wanted to glorify it into everybody is only there for one reason, and that is to wreck that shrine. But I know why those people were there. I could relate to it from 4,000 kilometres away over here in Perth, and that is those people are going there to show their respects and call on the Anzacs in spirit. All the people that of this past ancestors of this country that fought the wars, and that's the whole purpose of them going there and being amongst that. Is they basically are the souls of those people saying, this is what we're standing up against. We're actually saying, no, these people here at this shrine fought against shit like what this government was doing to us. How much more can I say on a live stream? Probably should keep it hush, but you know what I'm saying. I know you know what I'm saying. I know you know what I'm saying. Valvoline, you know what I mean.
Look, there was a few, and especially on that day, that were bad. But the people, I was there at the shrine that day. There was always a handful of nut jobs, and that's every protest because it kind of attracts them. They want trouble. The majority of people weren't that. You were calling them bozos. You were calling them. I
stand by that.
You were calling them names, but that's not who they were.
Come on. You talk about media self-interest. What were those?
Gaslighting, Neil. Gaslighting. Now, remain impartial. Did you call the bozos that forced people to go and get these in the arm, those bozos in Canberra? Do you call them bozos, Neil? Do you ever call those people bozos? I've never heard you call them bozos, mate. And you know that what they did was unprecedented garbage. And that was bozos in Parliament that made Australia go and do what they did, even though they worded it so it wasn't actually what it was.
Why were they storming their own union office down at the CFMEU? Why were they jumping?
Why, Neil? I'll tell you why. Because that union... I don't know much about this, right, guys? This is just what I thought from what I learned at the time. And that is, the union didn't have their workers' backs. Those workers were there to say, no, we're not going to do this. The union basically said, no, you've got to go and get it. If that's what they want, they've got to go and get it. So, of course, those people are standing up. So that's where the first fight was. It was with the unions to sort of say, hang on, you ain't got our back. We're paying you all this money for you to have our interests at hand, but you didn't. You sold out to the government. That's why those people were there, Neil. You should know that. You're just pushing for a hard question. Oh, well, you're not really. But that's just gaslighting, mate. You know the answer to that, Neil, but you won't go on and admit it or say it. But that's the only reason why those people stormed the offices of that union, because they were betrayed by their very own unions, mate. They sold out. That John Sitka or whatever his name is sold them all out and basically agreed with the government. There was no compromise. There was no compromise. Oh, I'm so angry. Thank you.
Yes. Top of innocent people's cars. Why were they trashing the shrine? Why were they insulting war dead?
3AW is the reason. 3AW is the reason that.
Did you hear that? Why were they thrashing the shrine? That I didn't. All the footage from ground level that I saw, Neil Mitchell, nobody was doing that. Now, if the mainstream media was there, they'll probably wait to get that. They'll probably be there for 3 hours. Someone might have done something stupid there, because you're going to get stupid people in any crowd. You're going to get stupid people at the footy. You're going to get stupid people at the cricket. You're going to get stupid people at horse racing. You're going to get people who might have got a bit drunk and done stupid drunken things. Maybe the people that might have done something bad were drunk, but general rule was people wouldn't have put up with that shit. The freedom people would have said, no, man, you don't do that. We're respecting this place. They were there showing their respect for the past war people. You know what I'm saying? You know it. You bloody know it, Neil. Don't start that on me, mate. I'm getting angry here. I'm going to have to go see me ADHD counsellor. Thank you.
The CFMEU kicked off. Do you know how that happened? So I was there the whole day.
Yeah.
And what happened was John Sector wouldn't come down. He came down early on, and then they were negotiating at the front. I was there watching it. And then John Sector went on, I think it was Tom Elliott, but I think actually, what's her name? She used to be your producer. Heidi
Murphy.
was filling in that day, and they were playing it on a speaker from the phone. They were playing it on a speaker, and he called them all a pack of Nazis.
Well, hang on. That's 3OW's fault. That's John Setka's fault.
Yeah, but nobody counted what he was saying. And they just ran that narrative for 24 hours.
You just said an absurd. That is 3OW's fault, and here you are arguing for truth and honesty. There's truth live from John Setka, which happens to go through 3OW.
Whoop! He found his little loophole that he can. Abby might have worded something wrong, so he's found his little loophole that he can run with this, and they'll now pluck that story, and that'll be front page news tomorrow. Just what that one word that he said. Oh, it was 3OW's fault.
And it's our fault.
No, but your fault. You're just like you.
You're censoring.
No, I'll tell you.
I know what Abby's trying to say there. It is the fault of them because the fact that they pushed their narrative of violence there was some horrible shit. There was cars getting kicked, whatever, but it escalated into that. But the whole reason is people. It was a touchy subject, guys. Tell me, anyone out there who went and got your thingos and you didn't really want to, right? If you have tuned in and you're watching this and you didn't really want to get it. Now, you felt like shit because you felt like you had to go and get them because in order to pay your bills, you had to just feel like you had to just cave in and do it. Imagine how it felt for the people who said no and got the sack. I got the sack. I got the sack from the company that I worked for 10 years. I'm in a class action against that company because of that. The psychological damage that they've put upon me. The fact that I asked them in letters and sent them as much information as I could, did the letters, gave them information about it not passing clinical trials and all that sort of stuff, and the fact that they didn't care. I did ask them, look, can you just stand me down, and let's see if we can ride the wave out. No, sacked. It's 10 years, sacked. Thank you. Yeah, you try and get. None of you media guys stood up. Actually, there was that guy from Channel 9 that, I don't know the guy, you know him, whatever, over east somewhere, Adelaide, wherever, Melbourne. But I'm just waffling now. Thank you. Let's go back to the show because I feel like I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you.
No, but you're meant to ask questions. You're meant to go,
Exactly.
How do you know they're Nazis? You're meant to go to Dean Lee. What? Did you see somebody weeing on the thing? Because the only proof we have of anybody desecrating the shrine were police horses. There were so many live videos and there's not one.
Yeah. I agree with you there, Abby, because I thought that too. Where's the evidence of that? They can go along and say that. Of course they're going to say that to make us all look bad. And that's what the mainstream media does when they lie. They actually lie about that sort of stuff and make it so, they're making up a story. And once that's passed through, they push it. And then all the brainwashed people think, oh, they're scumbags. I remember going to work and putting it on the TV in the lunchroom. And people were saying, yeah, they're fucking wrecking the, they were basically the people were thinking the protesters were disrespectful, but they weren't. And that's because the mainstream media pushed that narrative that, they weed over the shrine. They were there to defecate. You know what I mean?
One video, you're telling me. Not one video.
They certainly trashed it. You look at the garbage.
They certainly trashed it, okay. Did they peel off plaques, Neil? Did they take their bloody jackhammers and start smashing away and chip it? They certainly trashed it, did they? He's still running with the bullshit story, Neil. Come on, mate. Get with the times, bro. You sold out. Your opinion's sold, Neil. No matter what, you might think that I'm this big Neil Mitchell guy who says what I want. No, you don't say what you want, Neil. I say what I want. I'm English recluse. I say what I want. But you don't, Neil. You have to toe the line. I'm the CEO of English Recluse, thank you. I also sack myself in the boardroom sometimes when I make mistakes. I bet you don't, Neil.
They were kettled. For 3 hours they were forced to be there. What do you want people to do when they're there? And I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying the majority that you call bozos were actually good, decent people that I met. And if you would have come down there and spoken to them, which the media that were there were not giving them the time of day. We were the only ones giving them the time of day. And if you spoke to them, you'd realise that they weren't Nazis. They were
I
actually.
didn't call them Nazis. I
Well,
wouldn't.
the media was for days after John
That's
Sector
right.
made that claim, and they weren't Nazis. In fact, do you know those protests were the most diverse I've ever seen? And I've gone to protests for years. They were the most diverse, mostly made up of ethnics, because ethnics had the guts to come out and actually do it. Many of them from countries that they feel like they ran away from this.
That's right. Sorry, Aussies, you've all become weak as piss, no spine, gutless, and our ancestors will be turning in our graves, Australia, because what happened to the Australia that we all knew and grew up with? What happened? Now, depending on your age, now obviously it's things have changed, but I'm showing my age here. I've gone through a few generations, but come on, Australia, what happened to those old Australian memories of you know, us being strong and saying no, instead of bending over and yes, okay, government. Anyway, got to be careful what you say on this platform. Thank you. That's not incitement. I'm just saying. Australia used to be known as a hardcore, tough kind of country. Now we are just as weak as piss as the next, but we are getting watered down with the agenda. The agenda's watering us down. I won't go into that, but we are getting watered down. The population of Australia is getting watered down, and now look who votes. People that have just been here. I mean, all I'm going to say is, without sounding like I've got immigrant background, I'll just say that I'm half Polish, guys. My grandparents came here in 1950s, early 1950s, after World War II. So I'm half Aussie as you can get, half Polish as you can get. So basically, I come from that background and understand where my family history come from to get here to Australia after what went down. But that's my whole reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I just know that my grandparents went through wars regarding this type of freaking shit that Australia pushed its citizens into. But the people who just bent over and said, yeah, you just go get it, just go get it, everyone. Just go and bend over and get it like I did.
It's kind of
Would
authoritarian.
you seriously tell me there weren't groups within several of the protests? I don't know about that one specifically. The old Trots, the Trotskyites, out there to stir things up, to cause trouble. The anarchists. We want trouble. We want blood in the street.
There were.
There were? None.
There were.
Oh, there were, I'm sorry.
There were Nazis also that attended, but that didn't define the group. That's the thing. The media always took. There was a picture of a few Nazis that everybody there would have hated, that were there, and they took a photo, and the media ran with that. They're all Nazis. It wasn't like that. And if you and the journalists that were there on the ground knew that, and they were just dishonest. You tell me why.
Tell me about leaving home at 14. Were you scared?
All he's trying to do now is put on, all these dudes who, bad. Yeah, he's trying to push. I know what Neil Mitchell's trying to do here now, guys. It's all about division of the type of socio-economic background that you come from, and that's the reason why you don't like authority or this and this and this and that. Neil's just pushing for garbage here. This is mainstream media filtering for garbage. Thank you.
I often did things without thinking. I just didn't want to be religious. I had a dream when I was a kid. Often it was I grew up, I was the 10th child of 17 kids of an ultra-Orthodox family. My dream was to be on the sidewalk and some Aussie couple, not Jewish, had no kids, just took me in. That was my dream as a kid. So leaving home was
sad.
It was. Look, it's sad now to look back, and especially as a dad, I would hate to think my kids ever have any thought close to that. But at the time, was I scared? I think I was excited to leave, and then the reality of sleeping on the street probably hit me quick.
How long were you on the streets?
So it was only a few days that I lived on the streets before I manipulated my way into somebody's house.
Oh my goodness.
And I stayed there until I was taken into Anglicare and foster care. And
how'd you get into drugs?
It's one of those things.
Yep, trying to discriminate because of someone's past or whatever. And yeah, I know what you're doing, Neil. And you know what, guys? Check this out. I actually thought I had my real glasses on because I just grabbed myself in the eye. So hang on, look at this. I forgot. These are the broken ones. I just grabbed them and put them on. When I just before I rushed around, started the live stream, thinking they were real glasses. I put the blank glasses on. I thought I had real glasses on, guys. I apologise for that. Anyway, I'll keep them on. Thank you. They're nice.
I think, growing up with a warped moral compass where you think, breaking the Sabbath or eating pig is the worst thing you can ever do. I don't think taking drugs is very hard. In fact, I think you're a lot more accepted. It was easy to go home and say I did that, took drugs, and then breaking Shabbat or that. So it started. It started really young.
Remember your first time?
Yeah, it was.
What was
I
it?
talk about it in the book. I was actually. I was at a place that used to be called Little Hustlers in Balaclava Road, just under the bridge there in Carl.
Me, the first time I ever did drugs, right, it was in Carnegie. I was 16 years old. I was 16. My mate's older brother, he was a butcher, and he had a job. So we went to his house down in Melbourne. We were country boys. We were down there, hung out. Remember, I was 16 years old, and we had pizza that night. And we were in Carnegie, right near the train station in Carnegie. For those Victorians out there, Carnegie train station, just up a little bit, and yeah. Just right on that main road there, near the Carnegie station on the south side of the train line. And next thing you know, I remember it was daytime, probably daylight still, and I started feeling funny. And I remember I went to this kitchen sink, and it was like a tube spew, like a tube of spew made it into the sink, and there was no mess. It just all went into the sink, but because I was too far from it, and I was just so happy and grateful that it was a big tube of spew that made it into the sink by bending, you know what I mean, coming out of your mouth like a big tube. It was great. It was a good. I mean, look, I wasn't really into that sort of stuff, but yeah, it was just my first memory. So I just thought I'd share that with the Hang Loose Recluse subscribers. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Good story. Carnegie train station.
Bile Street. It's not there anymore. It was a little arcade, where all the trouble used to hang out back in the day. And I walked in, and there was a couple of, I was 14. And there was a couple of older girls, 18, 19, and they looked at me. I was walking around like I'm the toughest guy in town, and they go, "Oh, do you smoke weed?" And of course I smoke weed. I never touched it. Wouldn't have. No, I knew what it was. I just didn't know. I wouldn't have known what to really do. And then they said, "Oh, do you want to come to our house and have a smoke?" And yeah, I went back and.
I remember a dude like that, and he made out like he knew what he was doing. And then he goes, picks up the bong, and he goes, "What do you do? Suck or blow?" I can't remember who that was, but some of my old friends out there would know who that was, and that was always a funny thing. I think it might have been Al. I'll just say Al. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, it might have been Al. I'm sure he said, "What do I do? Suck or blow?" Then he turned into the biggest hardcore druggie ever out. Thank you.
Had a bong and. It knocked me right out. I was I was very scrawny. So I was this tiny little kid, probably didn't take much, but yeah, that was it.
Is that when you were raped?
It's technically I was raped, yeah, so that's when it was, but it's a weird thing to think about because when I was writing the book and going over that period, I was technically raped.
By the two girls?
By the two girls, but it...
All right,
so
now we're going to talk about that sort of stuff, are we? Can I tell you about when I was a paper boy, when I was 14 years old? I'll tell you about this story, right? All my mates hung shit on me for this story because they thought it was a bullshit story. Now, I know what happened. All I'm going to say is two hot chicks who were about 3-4 years older than me at the time, so they would have been 18, probably at the nightclub, maybe 17, 18, just leaving. It was 3-4 in the morning, probably 4 in the morning. I was going on my paper round, and I got stopped by two girls on my way to the newsagents. Yes, I got stopped by two girls. And I was officially raped. Well, I wasn't really, but, I got... Yeah, I can't go into it because we're on YouTube, guys, but it was something that stuck with me forever. And when I told my mates, it was a great thing to happen. And I told them, and they all just basically thought I was bullshit. Then I got teased for that because they thought I was a liar. But I know what happened that night. And, yeah, it was an adventurous night for a 14-year-old. Thank you.
10-year-olds, that'll be their dream.
I think so that's the thing. That's why there's kind of a conflict in my head because I remember walking out of there and I was so excited to tell my friend and both, but I just didn't.
So you're getting so excited, and I was kissing these birds, smashing them. I can't say what else was going on, but my hands were in all sorts of places, if you know what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. My hands weren't on my bike. They were all over the joint. And, yeah, and of course it was great. So excited, just want to tell your mates, and then when you tell them, all they did was bag you and think you were lying to them. But I know the truth. Thank you.
I was never upset that it happened. I was just upset with who, because I didn't want anyone to know that I was with them because they weren't, the prettiest and most glamorous.
What did you get onto from dope? What did you move to?
Oh, so then it was party drugs, and it's, you don't start off thinking I'm going to be injecting heroin in your arm.
But you were.
That's where I ended. But at first it was party drugs, so ecstasy, speed.
Well, I can honestly say, guys, thank you. I mean, anyone out there surely in this day and age has tried all sorts of things, but I can honestly tell you I've only ever tried 2, maybe 3 things. One of them was alcohol, one of them was marijuana, and the other one was Panadol. Well, I don't even like doing Panadol. But, yeah, like they're the only 3 things I've really ever touched in my whole damn life. Thank you. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that moment. Thank you, because I always said no to everything. Got called a pussy by me mates for not going down hardcore roads, and I saw everyone go down all sorts of things in a hardcore country town. But I just chose to be an individual and be myself and not go down that road. I didn't fall into peer pressure. And even today, some of those old friends said, dude, we respect you for you being yourself and not falling into any roads that some of them might have went down. Not this black duck. Thank you.
Ice and, partying every weekend. I've taken almost everything, but I didn't like drugs that make you hallucinate. I like to feel in control. But yeah, then the progression was essentially that after you do 3 days a weekend, essentially of up, you have to come down, and the come downs got pretty nasty until my friend introduced me to this magic that helps the come down. But he made me promise not to inject it, because by that point I was already injecting almost everything I can get my hands on. And I said, yeah, sure. And I took a smoke of it.
This is heroin?
Yeah, we burnt it on a bit of silver foil, and I had it almost immediately. My come down turned from the most nasty thing. And when I say come down, you can get suicidal. It's depression. It's a deep depression where your body's also lagging, so it's physical, and then suddenly you just feel nice. And so I asked him for a little rock to take home, and I promised I wouldn't inject it, and I went home and just injected that in. And I got to say that out of all the drugs, I think it's the only one that I was really addicted, and I got addicted to it quite quickly, because the way I describe it is a physical and mental painkiller, and I was in both, I'd say. I was living on this, yeah.
I had a friend who used it a couple of times and described using his first use of heroin as a 3-hour orgasm. And I said, well, why did you stop? And he said, who needs a 3-hour orgasm?
Look, people either love it or hate it. That's the thing. I think people in pain.
How bad did you get? How often were you using it?
Every day.
Where'd you get the money?
Petty crime. You know what? I always thought at the time, when I was looking around at the older kind of junkies and that I was hanging around with, and I'd always think, what a waste of your life. They were older, so I looked down on them because I thought I'm just passing through. But I used to look at them and think, if you put your mind to it, you'd be so successful in life, because you're able to, so I'm talking about people.
Righto, guys, my batteries are going flat in this mic. I did use some old ones because I couldn't find any new ones. I do have a new pack of batteries, but I'm going to have to find some old rechargeables. Hopefully they hold up. I will swap it out just as this is running, so stand by.
With $10,000 a week habits, $10,000 a week, they were able to.
Well, what were you up to, do you reckon? What was it costing you?
I was probably a couple of grand.
That's a lot of petty crime.
It is.
What were you doing?
Oh, well, you spent the whole day going, so the whole day and whole night.
So what are you doing, burglaries or what?
Burglaries, there was the robbing people on the street, but that was less generally.
Armed robbery, knives.
So I was charged for armed robbery, but the armed robbery, like I said I had a knife on me, but I didn't really.
Did you ever carry a weapon?
Yeah.
What?
Knives. No. Yeah.
Ever tempted to use it? Ever nearly used it?
I told you, Neil, I would have wanted to. That's the thing. I wanted to. I aspired to, and that's why I look at a lot of the youth crime today, and I think, I know for me, I feel like if they went hard on me the first time, it would have scared me into reality. I had this conflict when I would go and have to sign bail. I would skip bail for weeks so that I could come back and they would lock me up, because I just want to be in juvie to have that under my belt and be able to, it's a bit of street cred.
How old were you this time?
15?
Good God.
16.
So why didn't you die?
I'm lucky. There's not many people I know from that period that are around. I have one friend that dabbled in it who got out of it. But outside of him, I can't actually really think.
So why? Why did you not die? Why did you get out of it?
I hit rock bottom, and I recognise it, and I always had that, that secret get out of jail free card in my back pocket, which was I knew I could go to my home, and I could just accept the religion or whatever, and I had a safe place.
What a stupid question, Neil. Why didn't you die? Everyone knows a junkie that's lived till 80. I mean, far out. What a stupid question. Has anyone ever heard of Keith Richards? Come on, don't. And Ozzy Osbourne? I mean, seriously, come on, Neil Mitchell. What a tosser.
Well, what was rock bottom?
I was staying at a friend's house. We were sharing a bed at my friend's house, his bed, and it was, there were so many youth services, so there was no reason for me to be homeless. To get a room was not super difficult. It just meant that.
Just got a test to make sure that's working, because I never heard a monitor. The battery's plugged back in. Does it work? Oh, it's not working. Oh, it is working. Oh, it is working. Thank you. Yes, it is. Hello? Are you there? Hello?
That you couldn't do crime for a few hours to get money for heroin. So I was just focused on that, and I would always plan for the next hit, because heroin, if you don't take it.
I just got to acknowledge people coming into the room to the Hang Loose Recluse show. To Hemi Viewer, thank you. Hi, everyone. And I did get your thing. I haven't checked it yet. The email. Haven't been email, mate. No chance. I've got to do an email tonight about something for something else, but not that email account. Anyway, in other words, you're an Aussie old son. Yes, thank you. That's right. We're all just Aussies. Thank you. We've all had past lives. But Neil Mitchell, oh, how dare you?
Once you're addicted, you're actually really, really sick, like the worst flu you could have.
Yeah.
And I planned for the morning. I planned so far that I even set it up. I put it into the needle and had it ready to go, so that minimal work in the morning and I could just get it into me. And I woke up in the morning and the table was probably 5 meters from the bed. I don't know, something like that. It wasn't very far. And I remember waking up in the morning and I was in excruciating pain, the worst pain, the worst sickness. I've never experienced anything like that to date. And I had swine flu and COVID. I've had everything, and never anything that can compare to that. And I crawled, physically had to crawl to that table. And it felt like hours. I took it, and the thing is, I just felt normal. And that normal it was the biggest high in the world. Imagine that sickness that you have, and then a doctor just gives you something and you feel normal. It's the biggest high. And I knew at that moment.
So it dawned on you, I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble.
How hard to get off it?
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible.
What did you do? Where'd you go?
So I went to my parents.
Went home. But did you get help to get off it?
Yes, I knocked on the door, and my mum opened the door, and I broke down.
Can we not talk about what you did when you were 14, mate? Can we just talk about what's going on now, please? Come on, look, we've all lived this. We all know what you're talking about. But Neil Mitchell is just pushing for a narrative and a soundbite so they can plaster it next time they want to do a smear campaign about Avi Yemini. So let's get to the current times, the current climate, what's going on. Senator Gerard Rennick in Australia, Western Australia at the moment. Yes, thank you.
Not many times I've cried, especially in front of him, but that day, and I would have looked really sick. I know I had big pimples, and it wouldn't have been a good sight for my mum. My dad came, and my dad back then was a bit fundamentalist at religion, so he had to ask the rabbi if they're allowed to accept me. But the rabbi said, based on the doctor from the community came, he did a check, and he essentially said to them, the amount he's using, he's either going to be dead or in jail soon to sustain that.
And life's paramount.
They took me in, and that was the first. I'd been to rehab a few times, but it was court ordered.
Have you used since?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Well, you know, but as well as anybody, what an issue drugs still are in the community. What do we do about it?
Well, first thing you got to do, Neil, is say no to that thing where the government wants to put that drug into your arm. That's the first thing you got to do, is you have to say no. You know that one that we all had to go and line up for to get in order to keep our jobs, Neil? Yeah, well, basically we've got to stay away from those drug pushers, if you know what I'm saying. I'm sure you know what I'm saying, Neil, but I'm sure you would actually not agree with that, and you would probably rather be a drug pusher for that organisation that you so gladly represent. Neil, think about that, Neil. Yes, absolutely. Think about that, Neil.
Give me your ideas. How do we stop
It's
Avi hitting drugs at age 14?
look, it's a hard one.
Well, first thing you do is do not comply, okay? Just do not comply. If any drug dealer comes along with a big coat of arms with a kangaroo and an emu on it, just say no, I do not comply.
Because I'll tell you the truth, you can't get somebody off drugs who doesn't want to get off drugs. And it's as simple as that. You know, people,
So all those people going around now with masks in society, yes, those people, they're the ones that have had five of the best shot, and now they're all masked up, and they still want more. They want more.
people need to hit their rock bottom. And I think the trick is just to, more for families, you need to just love those that are addicted to them, and you can't fall for their tricks. They're the most manipulative people.
Yeah, but how do we stop the music in the first place?
To Hemi viewer, I just read your message, had a bit of a giggle. I've watched this in full and thought it was as informative as it possibly could be without would be on this format. To Hemi viewer says, I like pig on the Sabbath, so does Aussie. Yes, Aussie Ospig, War Pigs. Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Yeah, tube spew. That's descriptive. It was actually a tube of spew. I remember it was a solid tube. In a big tube, you could actually, poke your finger through it, I reckon, if you had time.
I mean, were you using it because you were tormented, or because you were lost, or because you were trying to be tough? Why the first time?
Well, I'll tell you, Neil, because he was a teenager, and teenagers are vulnerable to that stuff. That's just what teenagers do, and they've always done that. They've done it since Avi was a kid. So every year and generation that's gone by ever since Avi was a kid, and our I'll say my dad was a kid. My man was born in the 50s. I'm sure it was the same thing for them in the 70s as well. So Neil, you're about his age. So what do you reckon? I'm sure you probably were around it as a teenager too. But then again, there was nerdy fucks that work in the mainstream media who were too busy doing schoolwork, homework, and trying to get into university rather than going out and having a good old teenage lifestyle. You know what I mean? Nerds!
At first it was, you mean the party drugs, why I started?
Well, yeah, I
It's just like
understand the heroin. Yeah, but the heroin was the downest. But yeah.
Well, heroin was to get off the party drugs. And
Yeah.
the party drugs was just, I guess, that's what you did. You go to parties and then somebody gives you MDMA and you feel that and you feel, wow.
So is there any way that we can reduce the amount of drug problem by getting a message through to kids, or are they just not going to listen?
It's
They might listen to you.
yeah, they could. Look, people have had me
G'day,
talk to their kids.
Kavansky. Who's this Kavansky saying no? Look at these comments, guys. You got a robot in the audience, a robot saying, Kavansky, no, 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 no. What's that all been made of there, Kavansky? Can you please elaborate? Thank you.
Kids when they've had drug problems, and I don't think I've been super successful because, do you know, it's one of those things. You have kids, right? And you made all these mistakes in life. And I've sat there and said to my kids, I just want you to know this mistake I've done so you don't have to remake it. But they think you're an idiot because you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, you're an adult. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm happy to talk to people about it, but I don't have the answer. And actually, I need...
G'day, folks. And this is now official an ad break. This is an ad break, guys. It's an absolute ad break. And why am I not moving the right one? Hello, how are you? Thank you. Yes, that's right. This is an ad break. You're watching the Hang Loose Recluse channel. Thank you. I thought I pressed play, mate. I better keep talking until I press play. Always
I need to correct something because I did tell you that I never took it again. There was one relapse, and I talk about it in the book, which was one time when I came back from the army, and that's where I died, and that's where most people overdose, is when they relapse. Because
So why didn't you die?
Luckily, my friend called the ambulance and they gave me Narcan, and yeah. So there
Probably
was one.
didn't go to
I didn't want there to be something.
What the hell? I don't know what's going on, guys. Something weird's going on. Something weird just happened. Don't know. I apologise for this. What? It just stopped by itself. Hello? Hello? Why aren't you playing? We apologise for this, guys. What's going on? I don't know why. It's just stopped by itself. I've got a feeling something's got in and glitching us out. Thank you. I would not be surprised if it's the powers that be, and those powers that be are not you and me. You know what I mean? Thank you. Come on, play the rest. This was a good show until Hang Loose Recluse had something go wrong. Come on. Neil, are you home? This is what I'm going to have to do, guys. I'm going to have to add another Neil video and just redo it because this is just ridiculous. I'm going to go Avi 2 because I'm going to call it. I'm just talking you through it, guys. I apologise for this. I don't know what has happened. I am trying to replay it. It's like my computer has glitched out and it's jamming up here. So I will just chuck this back on again. There we go. Thank you. There it goes. There you are. And I will make sure that that plays again. So transition that in.
Avi Yemini, thank you for your time.
That's working.
We're going to fight for the next hour.
I don't think so, unless you pick one.
You reckon we'd agree on everything?
Sound going
Definitely not. I
Well,
can guarantee you.
Well, one thing that stood out to me, you're very critical of mainstream media. Right?
Yep.
What are they, fake news media? I've spent my life in mainstream media, more than 50 years. If I wasted it.
All right, now I've just got to scroll up. That did work, so I have fixed the problem, but I now have to scroll up to where we were. Again, I apologise for that, guys. Thank you. Now that's giving me grief. Something's just not right here. I think there might be something wrong with the file that I've got because it just doesn't want to play from that point onwards. Apologise for that. Hello? I was enjoying that, guys. I was absolutely enjoying that. I was. It was a good show. Thank you. Well, it looks like it's over. Damn thee. All right, so let's just talk about some stuff. We'll bring up some screenshots and check out one of the comments. It's on the YouTube original thing here. So we'll just bring that up and show you this screen recording here. Why would that just pause? I haven't even paused it. It's not even on pause, but it's pausing. Silly thing. Oh, come on. All right, so I'm going to transition this across. This is what some guy wrote. Neil Mitchell is a gatekeeper, which he is, as you can see it for yourself. Just got to bring up the next comment. And I'll show you this one. I thought this was quite interesting. And I'll just pull this one across here. I've got to make it a bit smaller so they both fit. Bear with me. There we go. Thank you. There we go. So yeah, Neil Mitchell is a gatekeeper. Give me 5 minutes with this guy and I'd have his head spinning with questions like, there are 30,000 excess deaths in Australia. Why aren't you investigating this and reporting on it? If doctors, nurses, vets, teachers, builders, etc. all had to take the experimental mRNA medical procedure under a mandate to keep their job, why wasn't the Victorian justice system mandated as well? Why weren't you investigating this and reporting on it also? If schools, libraries and churches were closed during lockdowns, why weren't the brothels closed also? Police officers cannot enforce CHO orders. They need to be authorised officers to enact CHO directives. Under law, why was there only a couple of authorised officers in Victoria during these past few years? He could ask his Freemason buddy Shane Patton that one. Why hasn't he asked that? Why did the police enforce a curfew when the CHO didn't request it? Why did the police enforce any of the, thingamajiggies? You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Just going to bring up this third part of that comment, and that will now come up to the top on the left side there. Why did the police enforce any of the CHO orders? Because they didn't have the power to do so under the law, and that's for starters. Then someone else comments, I can't believe that Avi is considered right-wing. His views are not right at all. Can you believe that I had a great little show there? I wouldn't say great, because you guys can be the judge of that. I don't know if this was great or not, but I had a go. It's my first ever format like this, and I can't understand why I had a glitch there in the end and why that video just stopped playing. And it seemed to be stopping playing right at the spot. Come on. Glitching out, mate. Glitching. Thank you. Don't know what happened. Anyway, let's see what we can do. Oh, I must have said something. Batman says that I said something wrong on television. J Poop Olio, what the hell? No, I don't know what's going on. Redneck Rumbler, 2-stroke engine, thank you. All right, what can I bring up here? This is so frustrating, guys, because I was trying to bring this to you. You know what? I'm going to do a timer countdown and say goodbye, because what's the point in hanging around if this ain't going to work? That was fun while it lasted. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming to the Hang Loose Recluse Show. I don't want to be here all night, but I will hang around for a little bit and get out of here. I'm so sorry that did not work fully. I wish I had another video loaded up ready to go to show you something else, but I just don't have it. Actually, I might see... what the... What is going on? Thank you. Yeah, she's really jammed up this computer. It's still pumping out through the lives, but I just can't understand why it just doesn't want to do what I want it to do. It's not working. Why would that be? I can't work it out. Yep. All right. Let's transition a 5-minute bloody timer. This is the countdown to say goodbye, guys. And might as well end it. Thanks for your comments. I'll go through your comments now. We've got 5 minutes here, guys, and I'm getting the hell out of here. Thank you. Coffee is a drug. Thank you. Not even close to right. Not even close to right. HLR. Poop. Some weirdos just, some blowings just come in. His name's Kev Nasty. LOL. Look. LOL. Poop. Poo. The guy's got no brain, I don't think. So yeah, Kev Nasty. Apologies for your brain and for being incapacitated or whatever the hell is wrong there. What else can we look up? How can I make it so my phone will go across there? I wish that's what I need, a screen recording. All right, well, how's about we bring up a web browser? Let's look up a web browser. Let's have a look. I don't know. I know that didn't work last time. Media source scene. I'm still trying to work this out, guys. I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to show up in the... this is so annoying. Thank you. Go under there. You can go under there and I can talk to the crowd. Of course you can. Thank you. Don't know why that didn't work, guys. I seriously do not know why that didn't work. No idea why that didn't work. And this is just a crappy screen. Oh, check this out, guys, while we're here. I got a new microphone today. This is a Sennheiser MD46. They designed this microphone around the 2000 Olympics. It's still used today. You still see it in some sport commentary. It's a microphone that handles pretty well, I think. It rejects a lot of noise. You obviously got to hold them tight, but if you're rattling your hand, you're going to get some sound through there. Yeah, dribbling for the sake of it now, guys. And it's almost a show. See, watch this. If I talk over here, this is a difference. It's a super cardioid, I think. Is it cardioid? Yeah, cardioid, so it's way back here. But it blocks out any background noise. So if I crank this YouTube video, watch this, I'll show you. I'll crank something. I'll just crank some random YouTube video and give you a bit of a demo here. And what's this? Breaking. Poland prepares for invasion. I'm just going to... Alright, so I'm close to the... You can hear that, right? Oh, come on. What happened to you? I pressed the power button. That's what happened. Everything goes to crap when you're not expecting it. I did have a show plan and a format. I have to work on the ending. Thank you. So hear this as I get away. You'll hardly hear that now. You hear it? The microphone's just up here, but point the other way. It's slightly there, but then when we turn it back this way, we're on air. Thank you. Just trying to entertain you guys. I'm absolutely sorry about that, guys. I will play a song. No, bugger that song. I wasn't going to do this all night, and the 5-minute time is almost up, I think. Let's have a look how long we got. 1 minute 47. We're nearly out. Yep, here we go. Here we go. Look, 1 minute 42 there, guys. Yeah, just so devo on that. Thank you. Yep, there we are in the background. Hello, where's Wally? There's Wally. Ooh. I was really looking forward to that program. Thank you. Just don't know what happened. Just go on. I'm still trying to click on the Avi and Neil video, but nothing's going on, guys. I definitely had a bit of a glitch there. Apologise for that, but you can't help bad luck. You really can't help bad luck. It's just the way it goes sometimes. I'll just go check your comments. It's on. Thanks for coming. Can't even replay that thing. So frustrating. Hope you enjoyed the show, guys. And that was the first almost professional style format that I thought I'd do. Let's go and chuck a video on. Let's try and where is it, browser? All right. Create new. I need a screenshot. How do I do that? How do I do the old screen capture? That's what I'll do. Let's go and do a screen capture. Yeah, we'll do that. Display capture? Is that right? All right, we'll do that. We'll see what comes up. Yeah, I'll try it. That doesn't want to work. No properties available. All right, so how do I get the properties? What's the properties? There we go. Let's get into it. Come on. I'm going to just see what I can get here off this thing. Let's go into this. What the hell? I don't want to end the stream. I want to go over here and go to YouTube and try another one. Thank you. Let's just click on a random video. Is that actually going through there? I don't know. You seen anything? I don't know how this works. Let's just click on a random video. Is that actually going through there? I don't know. Nah, it's not working. Ah, for goodness me. When I lived in Perth years ago, I fell in love with surfing, and at that time I made sure, when I walk on the beach, I made sure I was wearing large thongs because the sand had needles everywhere. I haven't ever, well, yeah, I've seen a couple around on the ground, but what's this? Chris Party 23, election bribe, what's this, 20 hours ago? How long does it go for? I want to find a longish video. Alright, well, let's go to, oh, something just freaked me out. Oh. Did that go through to you guys? I'm trying to find something I can watch, guys. I know what. I'll go watch an old video of mine. I'll watch my first ever video. Watch this. Well, I'll go bring up the first ever Hang Loose Recluse video. Check out my first ever video. I'll have a look. We'll go have a look at my first ever video. Let's see if we can find it. Library. I've got to copy it. Bear with us as we do this. If you've just joined us, we do apologise. What's happened is we've had a bit of a glitch. We did get through most of the video. There was like 20 minutes to go, but unfortunately it clapped out on me. So I can't really do much about that. So I'm going to go copy the link and watch one of my first ever videos. Actually, I'll show you my journey to Melbourne. Yeah, let's go and watch my journey to Melbourne. Oh, if I can scroll down there, it just doesn't want to load up. Too many videos now, guys. Way too many videos. Bear with us. I'm sorry that you can't see what I'm seeing, but I'm going to make it so you can see this because I know how to do it. I have to copy it into a browser. That's the only other way I can do it. So I'll... Oh, come on. It's way back. It's taking a long time, guys. Taking a long time. And I'm just talking you through this. Actually, we should go and watch the... Oh, no, I won't do that. This is... Let's go and watch the... I'm going to watch the video of the... I can't find it. Sorry, guys. I'm just talking you through it, so just giving you entertainment while I'm just trying to find some stuff. Oh, this one was a funny one, but I better not. Nah, it's not long enough. I want to give you a nice long video, something to look at. Yep. Oh, I thought this was a good one. Let's try and watch this one. No, we won't watch that one. How about we watch this one? No, we won't watch that one. How about we watch that one? All right, we'll try that one. No, we won't. Shelves empty. Panic buying day 2. No toilet paper. Let's watch the panic buying. Do you want to? All right, let's do it. Let's watch the panic buying toilet paper. Remember there was no toilet paper in the shops? Do you remember that? That was very funny, guys. Let's watch this. I'm going to click on this and share it. Well, I'll copy the link and I'll bring it up to you. Just bear with me. Can you hear that? Yeah, I don't think you can. Sorry about that. Bear with us. I'm going back to the other page now as we talk crap here and try to bring up a browser, and I'll copy that in, and that's going to go in. So this will work hopefully, and we'll see what happens. Thank you. That's saving in, and I'll be able to load up a video for you very shortly. Fuck off. I'm just talking through it because I am struggling. I'm stumbling here because I made a big boo-boo. Well, I didn't make a boo-boo. The bloody computer did. It stopped playing that video. I can't get it to play anymore. And the software has gone down, but I noticed that I'm still live and there's still sound coming out. But, don't forget, guys, Senator Gerard Rennick is here on Wednesday night. Well, I'm going to the Wednesday one anyway. I might go to that one. And I won't be with any video footage. I'm just going to go and be a listener and see from there. Thank you. Come on. I've got the evolving balloon that goes round and round and round it goes. Thank you. Come on, mate. Won't load up. Definitely glitching, guys. Do have some problems. Maybe I need a more modern computer. You guys know I'm running a 2011 MacBook Pro. That's what I'm running here. I don't see the point in upgrading to anything that's... I just don't like computers. Why would I want to? Yeah, why would I want to? Yeah, damn it. That's going to go. Gone. Yep. Move you. Why can't I get this to play? Oh, I've got to transition it, that's why. Oh, come on, people. Work it out. Transition. I need a more modern computer. That's what I need. No, I need more modern stuff, but I'm old school. I might be able to use some technology, but I have old technology in other areas. I like audio technology over anything else. Again, if you have just joined us, I'm going to get going soon. Thanks for coming. I should just end the show because it has turned into a horrible time here now that this has happened. And I don't know what is going on and why I can't do this. So I'm going to turn everything off and get it so only that display thing's going to work. Transition. Nah, it doesn't want to work, guys. I can't do it. I'm just going to bring up a logo here now. Bear with me. I'll bring up the timer. Where'd that go? Ah, for goodness me. All right. I'm ending it. I'm over it, guys. Glitches are great because they are learning curves. So annoying. Thanks for tuning in to everyone who did. Appreciate your time again. Hopefully this microphone came out all right. I think it sounds pretty good. I've done a lot of reviews on it, and it's actually a good interview mic, as well as can be used for podcasting style mics, which people use. So I think that it's going to be okay. I will listen back and have a bit of a listen to some of the audio that I got on the show. There was a glitch at the start too. A lot of the comments just disappeared off the face of the planet, and obviously I have no control over that while it's going live. I don't know why that's the case. But we will do more of these style videos, guys, and I will do more of that. But I do have to go, and I was meant to clean up the house tonight and do some stuff, but I've just been lazy. In the background, you would have seen a whole pile of rubbish and all that stuff, or when I say rubbish, clothes thrown on the couch that I haven't cleaned up yet. All that stuff. Anyway, you guys have a rockin' night. This is the Hang Loose Recluse, and I might as well tee up a song and get the fucking hell out of here. Thank ya. I might bring up this song, and this is the song that I wrote years ago. Years and years ago. This song was written, just for the sake of recording music. Thank you. And I will play this in the background, and just let it play. Actually, it is early in the night. I'm going to end this with this song here. This was a band I was in. I'm actually singing the vocals here, guys. Listen to the vocals. The drummer was 17. The first lead guitarist was 19. The second lead guitarist, which is at the end of the song, was 16, and the bass player was 22, I think. I was 34-year-old singer at the time. This is about 2010, guys. Check out this song that we recorded. I recorded this on my own equipment, our home recorded song. Check this out as I tee it up and ready to go. I'm going to say the name of it because it doesn't matter. Just know that this was Hang Loose Recluse back in the day. Thank you. All right. There you go, guys. That was a bit of Hang Loose Recluse there on vocals there, guys. That was Hang Loose Recluse on vocals. We hope you enjoyed that. We really do hope you enjoyed that. That was Hang Loose Recluse on vocals. As Hang Loose Recluse tries to tee up another song for you. I don't even know if I'm getting through out there in La La Land. I can't hear anything. That was Hang Loose Recluse on vocals. With the new microphone here, the Sennheiser MD46. That's a very good journalist microphone, and it has very good, cutting out background noise abilities. But what we're going to do now is just try and play another song and see what this is. What's this one? I don't even know what this is. This could be not what I think it is. Let's have a look. Thank you. I'll just see what happens. Is that playing? Hello? Why is it not playing? I don't get it. Thank you. Are you still there? Well, it is. Yes, you're still there. Thank you. All right, well, this song here, guys, I'm just going to end it on this song. There's no lyrics in this one. There's no lyrics. When I got all my music gear stolen from Melbourne, I went and bought the green guitar that some of you people might have seen on the channel of the green guitar. When I got my guitar stolen, I went and bought that one the very next day. I've had it ever since, and it's been a great guitar. And I recorded this just with cheap equipment back in 2003 when I first moved to Melbourne, pretty much, and from country Victoria. And I recorded this song. This is just one of them, but it's just with computer drums and crappy microphones and crappy equipment. But I recorded it anyway. Thank you. Let's see if we can sing this live. You're listening to another Hang Loose Recluse production. That was a Hang Loose Recluse live stream. Once again, apologies to everybody who missed the ending there of that show. I will do more of that sort of stuff, some videos and just talk crap, press pause, put my own comments in. I enjoyed doing that. It has taken up a lot of my time this evening because it was meant to start at 5 o'clock and only go till 6 o'clock. And what is it now? It's now after 7:30, which means my whole night is basically gone. Thank you. And now I have to try and do some cleaning up and all that sort of stuff. But once again, guys, thanks for coming. Do appreciate it. I actually get the urge and get the want, the desire to do these live streams. Actually enjoy it. And I know I've overstayed my welcome now. And thanks again to everyone who come along to the show. You know who you are. And we appreciate you being here. We hope this microphone held up okay. It's the first use. I got it in the mail tonight, just before I started. Thank you. And my wife isn't watching. Thank you. Not another new mic. Thank you. All right. Oh, I'm getting nothing on the signal meter over there. Oh, that's probably because it's in quiet mode. All right, well, let's wind it up, guys. I'll get out of here. Thanks for coming, and thanks for the comments. I'll just quickly go over the last couple of comments in the end there. Yeah, so 2 Hemi viewer, Neil is in relapse. What's up, my old mate? That's from 2 Hemi viewer, and that was to the Kavansti, the guy that was incoherent. 2 Hemi viewer also says, yep, that's a great comment. Because he was, carrying on. That's right, the guy who couldn't comment properly. Thanks for coming, guys. I will do more of these viewer watching video productions. Craig Seeley from down in Latrobe Valley in country Victoria. I know that name because I know I went to school with I'm sure I went to school with you, bro. I'm sure you're around the same age and you were at the same Yulorn Tech school that I went to. I'm sure we've had this discussion before. Thanks for tuning in. It's good to see an old tech schooler here. And Batman sounds much better with headphones on now. Yes, thanks, Batman. That snare was sounding like an ice cream container on my phone. Don't know whether you meant the first or second song, but that second song you just heard was recorded with computer crappy drums way back in 2003 or 2002, whatever it was. Batman says, enjoyed it. Thanks, mate. Boo Boo 5 says, thank you. Thank you for. I love it when people spell it differently. That's another great way of spelling it. Thank you. I love it. Because when I see it, I say it the way it's said, and it still sounds the same. Thank you! Love it that you're all getting involved in that. That's definitely the Hang Loose Recluse slogan. I know some people, not everyone out there likes it, and I have to use it wisely. But it is like saying and ah. That's my way of getting to the next moment of, I don't know what I'm going to do. Thank you! And then next, boom, that prompts me to just change the subject. Thank you! Yep. All right, guys, in saying that, I better go. Yep, I'm waiting to watch the new Liability Mate video. Not sure what you mean by that. Yep, I'm waiting to watch the new Liability Mate video. I wish I knew what that meant. I do apologise, because you can't always understand every tech comment that comes through. I know it would have some meaning, and I'm probably like, duh, it's probably a dumb moment. I just can't jerry and register on that. Thanks to you all for tuning in, and you know I hate saying goodbye, so I struggle to go. But I'm going to get serious one time in the future, set up these things. I did set up the screenshot on my mobile phone on my lunch break. I said it earlier in the video. When I went to log into it tonight through this OBS software, it wouldn't let me because I set it up on a mobile phone, and that calendar scheduled live stream that I put was expecting a mobile live stream, and I couldn't change that setting. It was like a drop-down list that was like a little thing I could press, but it wouldn't let me press it. So I couldn't change it. That was a learning curve for me to realize that I can't just set this up at work on my mobile phone and then come home and try and do it in the OBS. I had to start a whole new live stream link. So the original one, I just played a quick live stream on it earlier to say, sorry guys, this isn't working for me. And I did struggle to get started tonight, and I tried my ass off. Thank you. And I thought the early days of the show was doing okay, and some of you people in the comments did mention that and say that it was all right, so I appreciate that, guys. Thanks again. Yeah, this is fun. I enjoy doing it. It's like hosting your own TV show. And there's no producer kicking me up the butt except for me, myself, and I when I watch this back and think, why didn't I try this? Why didn't I say that? And why didn't I do that? Don't forget, guys, I will make this as professional as possible. Still working out the glitches with this OBS software stuff. Trying to work it out. Running an old computer. But if you'd like to contribute and help me make this into a better show, of course. I'm not asking you to do it. But if you'd like to, you can donate at buymeacoffee.com. That's www.buymeacoffee.com/hangloose. you'll see the page there that's not Hang Loose Recluse. It's www.buymeacoffee.com/hang loose. And obviously, there is some donations that have been provided in there. I haven't even pulled them out or touched any of those. So thanks to everybody who has contributed to that page. I do appreciate it. I do need to get a more modern computer, I think, in order to handle some of this stuff. 2011 MacBook Pro. 2011, guys. That's the most current computer I have. A 2011 MacBook Pro. That is ancient. Maybe it's time I upgraded. But it's doing the trick for now. Don't know why I glitched that earlier, but I can't run a camera. At least I can use the Apple camera. You can still see me. This is all you need. And I realise I don't really need a camera. I just need a little bit of a Apple camera just so you can put me up there in the corner and I can do me like a reaction video. I'm going to do more of it. I'm going to watch some random crap and just put stuff on and watch it with yous. And again, like I said, one day I'll learn how to plug in the TV into this and go direct, and I'll watch a bit of mainstream media, and I will commentate the mainstream media news one day. I know that will be boring, but if you're going to watch mainstream media, you might as well watch it on the Hang Loose Recluse channel and don't give them the click. You know what I'm saying. Thank you. I'm not monetized. I get nothing from YouTube for any of the stuff that I do. And I do appreciate you guys showing a bit of support and all that stuff, and even just comments below. One thing I do ask, if you are here right now tuned in, it would be great if you, when this video gets uploaded, chuck a comment in there if you watched it. That'd be great. And once it's uploaded as a mainer, because these live streams go up and they get no comments other than the live chat comments. But it would be great to get some comments in the standalone section, because I notice with the live streams, they don't really gather comments on their own after the live stream has ended. So it'd be great if you could comment on that and just to, you know, maybe get it rolling. If you like this episode, especially the ones that you might like. If you really like this episode and think that there's potential in this for me to do more of this, then definitely drop a comment in, because it might help the algorithm and get more people to view it if you put more comments in there. Thank you. Anyway, I'm getting out of here, guys. While I get out of here, I've got to get out of this screen to end it, because I can't end it on here. You bastard. Why can't I learn how to do a bloody stream copy, like a screen copy? I don't know why it didn't work. Never mind. I'm just going to go and hit stop streaming. You've been watching another Hang Loose Recluse production. This has been another Hang Loose Recluse live stream commentary video HLR style show. How much more waffle can I do? You know I love being here. You know I love flapping my lips. And you know I love doing this for you, for your entertainment. And I appreciate that you chose me to tune into over all the people that you could be tuning into watching right now. Here you are live with Hang Loose Recluse. This has been a great night. Thanks for your company. Once again, this has been another Hang Loose Recluse live show. I'll think of something else during the week, and I will live show something else. Thank you. You've been watching another Hang Loose Recluse production. Thank you. Actually, no, I can't go yet. Traditional style of Hang Loose Recluse. I'm going to read your comments. Yeah, well, there's only one more there, so some thank you earlier. Batman says, yeah, I'm waiting to watch the new Liability Mate video. Well, was already... Oh, I'm not up to date, sorry. I was not up to date here. What's the one? Batman says, yeah, I'm waiting to watch the new Liability Mate video. Well, it is up to date. All right, well, you've been watching another Hang Loose Recluse production. This has been Hang Loose Recluse, your host. Thank you. You've been watching another Hang Loose Recluse HLR commentary video. Thank you.